My name is Ivan. Hi, guys. I'm going to talk to you about Afrographique, which is my project that I'm very proud to present to you this morning. I think, to start, I just want to quickly give everybody an idea of what it is that I actually do, besides shake uncontrollably on the stage. If we look at this is kind of like what data is. It's raw and doesn't. It tells us something, but without context, it's very hard to kind of figure out what that is. So an information designer like me gets that information out in a way that we can actually make sense of it and use it. So now we can see it's actually a telephone number, perhaps of a girlfriend or a loved one. But the point is, you know now what to do with this information. So a good bit of information design, I suppose, is very true to that saying that a picture's worth 1,000 words. Wow, that's really dark. I think good information design, and infographics in particular, work with two languages, the language of the eye and the language of the mind. Now, I'm talking, of course, about visual literacy, and visual literacy is something that we all do without actually even being aware of it. We're surrounded by images, of course, but a really simple kind of example of visual communication that we constantly engage with is like a traffic light. You know when to stop, when to go, when to speed up, when to slow down. But the language of the mind is a really interesting one, and that's statistics. And through these statistics, I think, is how we find a place in the world. If we consider that we can derive our own value from numbers, I think it's kind of sad that data is as scary to kind of get into, considering how important it actually is. So when I started Afrographique, I was very lucky to come across open data. I particularly, like I said, my background is visual, not research. I use Google Public Data Explorer, which is incredibly powerful. There's tons and tons and tons and tons of awesome data about Africa, but it's not really appealing. And more often than not, when I'm looking to start a project on something, the data kind of looks like this. And it's like, wow, it's ugly, it's scary, it's intimidating. So the main kind of challenge, I suppose, is to convert something complex and interesting into something that's simple and engaging. So, next slide. Afrographique is a project we've been working on for 4 months. It has infographics about Africa, interesting things that I find. I'm particularly interested in mobiles, internet, how social networking impacts Africans, like we saw earlier this year in North Africa. So, economics as well. I mean, things that we need to know, facts that are kind of given some sort of context to help us understand. This is one of 3 infographics I'm going to show you today. This one is called What If the World Was 100 People? And I think it's an awesome combination of the language of the eye and the language of the mind. I think making statistics relatable is how this works. And if we just use our eyes, we're able to do so much more. We intuitively understand relationships a lot better than just on a page with letters. This one is an infographic of direct foreign investment in 2009. And this is an information landscape, and I think this is really amazing as well because it allows you to understand what $5.628 billion actually looks like in comparison to somewhere else. And I think when you have a look at relationships like this is when like real magic happens and real learning happens. And of course, a humble list is also very exciting. This one was amazing for me to do because I actually realized Ghana has some really fast internet. This is an infographic of African download speeds. But even more importantly, if we kind of externalize and have a look at how we compare internationally, we have internet similar to Argentina. Ghana has internet that's similar to the USA. That's amazing. That's something we should talk about and be proud of. So in closing, I just want to quickly kind of tell you the 3 things that I use, 3 principles, I suppose, that I think make Afrographique work. Keep the information clear. You don't want to confuse, you want to educate, you want to change perceptions. The easier you do it, the better it is. I really live by this idea. If you can design it for your mom and your mom gets it, you're 100%. Keep it compelling. Afrographique's story is about African successes. Try and find the story in your own data, make it work, share it and spread it with the world, and it'll work. And finally, make it convincing. I think let's just remember that it's easier to convince with pretty images than it is with raw numbers and statistics. And in proper closing, I think Afrographique rocks. because it's talking about African successes, and I hope all of you here today will visit me at the website, get in touch with me, share your data. Let's kind of do some amazing stuff together. Let's start talking about the success stories that we got here. Thank you very much, and I'm sorry, I'm about to faint.